Hi, my name is Sitlali Diaz.
I'm Jacqueline Hernandez.
And I'm Natalie Luna, and this is our presentation on nomenclature. So right now I'm going to tell you what a cation is and an anion is. A cation is a positive ion, which obviously has more protons than electrons, and it's formed when atoms lose electrons. An example would be lithium and sodium. And then an anion is a negative ion, which has more electrons than protons. It's formed when they gain electrons, and an example would be fluoride and chloride because they have a charge of -1. Okay, so now we're going to talk about ionic compounds. These ionic compounds are positive and negative ions held together by electrostatic attraction. And what that is when a negatively charged atom is attracted to a positively charged atom. And then ionic compounds are usually metals and nonmetals, or monatomic ions, which consist of one atom only, and polyatomic ions, which consist of more than one atom. And I'm back! We're going to talk about molecular compounds. They consist of nonmetals and anions, which are negative ions, held together by shared electrons, also known as covalent bonding. Then acid is a molecular compound that releases hydrogen ions when dissolved in water.
Covalent compounds are two nonmetal atoms bonded together by shared electrons. This is known as covalent bonding. To combine two anions, you use the prefixes chart, like di, which means two, and tri, which means three. For example, we have 2 nitrogen and 3 fluoride. Therefore, it would be dinitrogen trifluoride.
Polyatomics are ions made up of more than one atom. To identify them, they usually have consecutive capital letters. For example, ClO3 is chlorate. You use parentheses when putting them into formulas with subscripts. An example would be Li2 parentheses CO3 parentheses.
To convert a formula into its name, we must first look at its charges. For example, iron, or Fe, has the charges of +3 and +2, while nitrogen, or N, has a charge of -3. For the name, we must include the Roman numeral of 3 to make clear that we used iron's charge +3 to cancel out nitrogen's charge of -3. Therefore, the name is iron 3 nitride.
To go from name to formula, first you must find the atomic symbol of the elements. So the atomic symbol of calcium would be Ca, and for bromide it would be Br. Then you have the charges, which then they would cross so that the charge of calcium becomes the subscript of bromide and the charge of bromide becomes the subscript of calcium. So then to write it out, you would put it as CaBr2. How to identify formulas. To identify formulas, you look for the atomic symbols and subscripts. You can use a periodic table. For example, ZnF2 is zinc fluoride.
Here's another example of changing a name to its formula. First, you want to separate both of the names so you can find out what their charges are before putting them all in one. So for zinc, it would be Zn with a charge of +2. And then for phosphate, that is a polyatomic. So I'm going to look at my chart here and look for phosphate, which is right here. So it's PO4 with a charge of -3. Now what you want to do is you want to cross your charges. So first you're going to do Zn with a 3 on the bottom because that was phosphate's charge. And then you're going to put in parentheses PO4. And this you leave alone because this is the name itself. And then you put the closing parentheses, and then you put the charge for zinc over here, which is 2. And that is your formula. We're going to learn how to change the name into a formula. First, we have to figure out what the formula for ammonium is, which is NH4 with a +1 charge. And I know this because I have my polyatomic chart right here, and ammonium's right here, so that's how I know. And then phosphide is basically phosphorus, so it would be P with a charge of -3. Now we have to crisscross the charges, so it would be NH4, but you would have parentheses because the charge would go right here. So this comes over here, and then it would just be P because this charge would go on over here, but it's only a positive one, so yeah. And this would be the formula.